Welcome to the Budget Mom YouTube channel. I'm Kamika Love from thebudgetmom.com, and as you may have noticed, we're in a little bit of a different setup. I know most of the time we shoot my YouTube videos in my itty bitty tiny square foot apartment in the corner of my kitchen. We are in a brand new studio setup with the YouTube crew. So this is what we're gonna be working with. It just makes it a lot easier for me to come and shoot all of these amazing YouTube videos. So that's the environment that's going on. And I'm really excited. So today we're gonna be doing a full November budget overview, and we're gonna be going over some I think major changes in my budget. So the first thing we're going to talk about and look at is my November budget calendar. So this is one of the first steps in my budget by paycheck method. It's remembering that a budget is not just for bills. A budget should be everything in your life that is going to cost money that should be included in your budget. What does that mean? Holidays, events, doctor's visits, salon appointments, all appointments, dinner with friends that you have planned, and then of course your regular recurring bills should be put on your budget calendar. That also includes if you have any travel plans and making sure that you get that vacation budget set up for that month as well. So I don't have one very important thing, and we just settled this, in fact, just this morning. I will be gone, and I'll just write this in, all of this week. I will be in Costa Rica from the 9th into the 15th. So I'm turning 34 on the 15th. And so we are doing a little vacation to celebrate my birthday. So I just wrote in my travel plan. Now that vacation budget will be separate, but it should be included here on your budget. We have a couple of different things happening, major things: Black Friday and Thanksgiving. Black Friday, it's gonna eat us alive. No, it won't. We'll have a budget for it. So I wanna talk to you very quickly about what I did for that. Now here's the crazy thing. Even as such a huge planner that I am, this girl forgot to put cash away for Black Friday. And as many of you guys know, I am on a journey to save up for my first home with cash. And there was some things, and I'll be making a huge announcement about that on my Instagram coming very shortly, but I've always wanted a KitchenAid. And I know a lot of people out there, like, they have all these dreams. I want to learn how to play guitar, and I want to learn to become a singer, and I want to be a movie star, and all these things. My thing is I want to learn how to bake. It's always been something that's been on my bucket list. I wanted to become a good baker. And so one of the things I've been wanting is a KitchenAid. But as you guys know, KitchenAids are really, really expensive. And I've been waiting for this day to get myself a KitchenAid on Black Friday, because there is one specific color that I want. I'll be sharing that with you when I buy it. But for some reason, it's more like 10 times more expensive than just like a black color KitchenAid. It's one of their limited edition colors. And so if I get a KitchenAid, it will be in that color. And so Black Friday, what am I gonna do? Because I didn't set money aside. I have a checking account cushion. And that means that I like to keep $1,000 in my checking account at all times. And in fact, I'll show you my November budget very quickly. My cushion that I set aside every paycheck is listed in my bills, because I want to remind myself I have to pay it no matter what. Now, when I say pay it, I mean just leave it in my checking account. I put $280 aside every single paycheck, and I let that just sit in my checking account. Why is the checking account cushion so important? One, if you have a problem with overdraft fees, this will save your life. So if you have a problem with, say, constantly overdrafting, or you have such a small amount left in your checking account after paying bills and swiping your debit card and all that, and a bill for some reason you didn't realize comes out, boom, you're hit with a $20 overdraft fee. Having that buffer or checking account cushion will help you with that. But it's also great for a person like me who uses all cash for spending. So what happens when an all cash spender like me wants to do online shopping? I have to use my debit card. But that doesn't mean I don't want to have to go every single time I purchase something online, take out cash in my envelopes, bring it down to the bank, deposit cash, replenish my checking account, do all that. I don't want to do that. So what I do is I use my checking account cushion for online purchases, and then I just replenish it with my next paycheck. That's how I use it. Well, what happened was when I was, let me get back to the month of October for a second. When I was tracking my spending, I realized something. I had let my checking account cushion grow to more than an amount I feel is really beneficial just to be sitting in my checking account. My checking account cushion at the end of the day, after all my bills were paid in October, I had $2,480 left just sitting in my checking account. That was my checking account cushion. So I said to myself, well, I can still keep $1,000 in my checking account and use the $1,400 for Black Friday spending, online shopping, or I could even choose to use it for my favorite holiday, which is Cyber Monday. Ebates will be your best friend for that, and you'll find a link to that just in the description of this video. But here's what I decided to do. I printed out a Black Friday cash envelope that looks like this, and inside you're gonna find 2 index cards. You can get these at the dollar store for a whole pack of them. Now with Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and Christmas shopping around this time, you're gonna find yourself doing a couple of things, 2 things. Spending online or going into the store. I'm prepared. Checking account money in my checking account, the $1,400 that's just left over in my checking account right now, I'm going to use for online shopping. What is the index card for? It's for tracking my spending and giving myself an updated balance of how much I have left to spend in my checking account. This essentially becomes your tracker. I also have $256 in cash that I'll be spending for Black Friday. Where did that $256 come from? Do you remember this back to school envelope that I've had the last 3 months that I keep saying, oh, my son needs new gym shoes, or oh, my son needs new underwear and socks. He's getting by just fine. In fact, we found a pair of shoes that is working great for him for cross country. We didn't end up spending it. So I currently have $256 in this back to school envelope that I'm going to take right now. And I'm now putting it in my Black Friday envelope. This is the cash I have to spend on Black Friday. I put my spending trackers in there. I can track cash spending and now online purchases inside my Black Friday envelope. That's how I'm handling holiday spending. So I wanted to very quickly share that with you and how I came up with that Black Friday budget, because you're gonna see it in my November budget. So here's what my November budget looks like. Income. We have my regular income that I pay myself a wage for my business. I have a $500 income that I'm also using for my business. That's outside of my regular payroll. It's a dividend business check that I give myself to save a little bit of extra money. And then holiday spending, that $1,656. What is that? It's this Black Friday envelope. It's the $1,400 plus the $256 that I pulled from this back to school envelope that I didn't end up using. It's in my budget to use for the month of November, and it's included as income because I plan on spending it in my budget. So my total income for the month of November is $6,388. And then what do? I estimate how much I'm going to pay for my bills. I leave that amount in my checking account. I have my bills on auto pay. Everything else I pull out in cash. So it's a very organized system, step by step, boom, boom, boom. So my rent, AT&T, I do have one major goal for the last couple of months. I just haven't gotten to it, is decreasing 2 of my bills. Comcast and my car insurance are the 2 main bills. I know almost 99% sure that I can call and get those decreased. So I'm working on that. But let's see, let's talk about my utility bill. Now, if you watched my budget overviews in the last couple of months, you've noticed that my utility bill has been about $50. Not anymore. Winter has hit Spokane. And the crazy thing is, I have had a fireplace in my apartment the last 3 years I lived there. I've never used it, not once. So I thought to myself, what happens with keeping the apartment warm when I throw a couple of logs in here, and I just did that, and in fact, it's amazing. I know my utility bill is going to increase with the weather change, but I should be able to manage it quite well with that fireplace that I've never utilized before. So we are trying that this year to see, compared to last winter's spending on my utilities, what it's going to do this year. So all of my bills equal $2,712. If you subtract that from the $6,388 in income, I'm left with $3,676. So what do you do with the money after you're done paying all of your regular bills? It's called variable spending. This is where I become a cash spender, and it looks like this: cash envelopes. I have decided this year I'm going to use the same cash envelopes that are in the TBM shop. They're called the Critter envelopes. I thought they were perfect for the weather's change that we're having right now with the fall and the Thanksgiving. They have these cute little critters. I'll put a link to in the description of this video if you're interested in these. So I have 7 envelopes. One that I just added this month, Kitty. So we had a cat that just kind of adopted me, and I adopted her back. And now she is a full-time furry friend family member. So Kitty now gets $30 a month. Household, miscellaneous, beauty, gas, fun, and food. Those are the categories of cash that I am spending. I assign myself a limit to those categories. So tracking your spending. The number one question I get with cash envelopes is, Miko, how do I know how much to spend or put into each one of these envelopes? How much are you currently spending in these categories? That's the number one question I want to ask you, because a budget is not about what you want to spend. It's about what you're realistically spending, and then decreasing to the goal amount you want to be at in very, very small increments. So where most people fail in their budget is they say, if they're currently spending $800 a month in food, and they tell themselves, man, I really want to get that down to $200. So the next month they do a $200 food budget and they drastically blow it and they totally go over budget. Well, I wonder why. You're setting yourself up from failure from the very beginning, going from an $800 food budget down to $200. That's very unrealistic. But if you were to tell yourself, I know I want to be at $200. Well, let's start at $800 where I'm right now currently spending. Let's cut that down by $50 for next month. If you succeed, then okay, we'll cut it down another $50 the next month, and then you succeed. There's gotta be a fine line and balance between wanting and what you're realistically spending. So I've been budgeting for 9 years. I have narrowed down, tweaked, and perfected my budget limits to where they work for me. So $400 for food, $100 for fun, $150 gas, $165 beauty, $100 miscellaneous, $80 for household, $30 for the new kitty, and I've also included my holiday spending right down here in the envelope area. The next thing that we want to do is I want to stuff these envelopes, and there's one thing that makes it a lot easier. It's the cash envelope breakdown. Now, I don't know if you've ever started for the very first time using cash envelopes. You go to the bank, you know you're supposed to spend, pull out $1,000 for your cash envelope. So you go and you say, I want $1,000, please. They give you back all $100 bills. You come back, you try to stuff your envelopes and realize the bill denominations do not work for your budget category limits for your envelopes. Budget category breakdown. I list out all the different cash envelopes that I want to pull cash out for. Now that does include my sinking funds. So after I pay and pull out cash, all of my sinking funds equal $2,681. If I subtract from what was left over after paying my bills online, I'm left with $995. Now that $995 after paying your bills online and taking care of your variable spending, your budget may not look like mine. It all depends on your financial priorities, your personal financial priorities. Maybe at the end of this, you get to that $995 and you say, I really have a goal to pay down debt. Well, that $995 should be going towards your debt payment then. I don't have debt. I'm currently debt-free since end of last year in 2018. So mine all goes for preparing for the future and savings. So I pull out all of my sinking funds in cash. They look like this. I have sinking funds savings envelopes. So I pull those out in cash as well. And then I write down, so for instance, let's work through my food. My food amount is $400 budget, which means I'm pulling out 3 $100 bills and 2 $50 bills. So I like to start from highest bill list to lowest because, as I mentioned before in my YouTube videos, it's a lot harder to hand someone a $100 bill than it is a 10 or 50. So you're going to end up spending your smaller bills first. It's something psychologically in our minds when we hand over physical cash to someone. So let's fill these up really quickly. Now I went to the bank. If you are using the budget by Paycheck workbook, you have access to these little teller slips. It's in the very end of every single month. They look like this. You can just cut them out and bring them to their teller. As you can see, I cut out my first one already. That's what you're seeing here. It's my little teller slip. So let's fill up some of these envelopes. As you can tell, I went down to the bank. I pulled out all of my cash. So now I need to stuff them. So what I do is I literally bring my envelope over, food envelope right here. I need 3 $100 bills and 2 $50s. And I write that down. Now, I haven't filled out the back of my envelope. I like to do that. I'm just gonna bring a pen over. So this is my food envelope. And I have a $400 budget. That envelope has been stuffed. So let's work on the rest of these. So all of my envelopes have been stuffed. And the next thing I do is I love my Filofax Saffiano wallet. I have the raspberry color. It has this amazing little 6-ring system. And that's how I keep all of my cash envelopes in my wallet and they don't fall out. So here's the thing though. I get questions like, do you carry all that cash with you when you're out and about? No. I only carry the cash envelopes that I need for the day, which means I have to plan ahead. You're gonna know if you need to go to the grocery store. You're gonna know if you need to go to the gas station if you need gas that day. Plan those things out, only bring that cash with you. There is one cash envelope that I carry in my wallet at all times. It is my miscellaneous envelope. Because there are things that pop up. Husband calls and says, hey, I need you to stop by the store. You don't have your food envelope, but you have your miscellaneous envelope. Something pops up with kiddo. Maybe it's something at school. Maybe it's a book fair that you didn't know about, which just happened to me recently last month. I had my miscellaneous envelope. So that's currently how I'm organizing and how I store and carry my cash envelopes is my Filofax wallet. Very quickly, the Filofax wallet, we get so many requests for this. I'll put a link in the description of this video to give you 10% off and where you can find this wallet, as well as I get a lot of questions on the hole punch that I use to hole punch my envelopes. I'll also include that in the description of this video. I did a whole YouTube video on my wallet and I'll make sure that we put a link for that here. So that is my November budget recap. I want to make sure that I got everything. We talked about Black Friday. We stuffed the envelopes. The next thing too, I want to mention very quickly, closing out your budget and gearing up for that. What does it look like when you're budgeting and you're going throughout the month or from paycheck to paycheck? Make sure that you're filling out, especially if you're using the Budget by Paycheck workbook, you're filling out your worksheets a little every single time. And then also don't forget to be starting to get your spending written down in your expense trackers. So if you found this video helpful, please like it and don't forget to subscribe.